What's up, guys? Wade Willis here to break down episode 7 of Higurashi Sotsu, and everything really picked up in this episode, in my opinion. I was fine with the first 6 episodes. I really liked the first arc in particular a lot. Second one was still pretty good. Just things were getting kind of repetitive, and we weren't really learning anything other than what happened when certain people got injected with the syndrome and went crazy. And it's like, okay, like we were able to kind of fill in the blanks for a lot of it. And some of it did fill in some holes, but I want more of like mystery and trying to figure out what's going to happen like in the story. So that's kind of where I was. And I know I'm not the only person who feels that way, but this took an amazing step forward for the story. And yeah, guys, before I go any further, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video on the social media. Trying to cover When They Cry pretty in depth here. Sorry I have not posted an Umineko video yet this week. I will get to that. Really busy with watching the Olympics and stuff, and I was just because of all the time zone stuff, I was getting up at like 2 a.m. to watch the wrestling for the Olympics, and then yeah, I've felt like death every single day because I was doing that for like 6 days. So now wrestling's over, so I'm gonna go back to my normal schedule, and I will be uploading a lot more. So sorry about that, and I'm doing a Madoka Magica reaction videos. This is my first time watching that, so should have another episode of that coming out pretty soon. But back to episode 7. And I really thought that they were going to start focusing on Aua and Satoko a lot more. Particularly, in Sotsu, we didn't really get much from Aua yet. And this episode, she really starts to shine, and we start to see, like, kind of like what her MO is a little bit. And she brought up, like, yeah, like, you're entertaining, and, like, being bored for, like, a witch is, like, the worst thing possible, which those of you that are familiar with Umineko even slightly know that that is like a death sentence for a witch. That's like worse than death is being bored. So that was very significant. And that whole exchange in that first exchange with Satoko and Aua was kind of a lot of bombshells. First, and really the main thing is, I had kind of been talking in my videos, not to pat myself on the back too much, but she kept bringing up, you have to die after Rika, you have to die after Rika. And I was like, that's really significant. And some people had said, well, Satoko could kind of follow Rika, or like just do the same thing to a different Rika, and something about it, like I was like, why would she keep bringing it up if she could just keep going and go after another Rika and then try to be successful that way? That makes no sense. And yeah, I was right on that. Again, hold your applause, but I was correct on that. And Aua said to Satoko, like, if you die before Rika, I'm gonna send you to a fragment that Rika doesn't exist. Which, that is pretty crazy, to say the least. It's kind of interesting to me because there's like a parallel between Rika and Satoko right now. Because Satoko has Rika trapped, but Aua also has Satoko kind of trapped in this. And what is exactly victory to Aua? I feel like Satoko thinks victory for Aua is the same as victory for Satoko. I'm not really thinking so. I think she just wants to be entertained. She doesn't care if Satoko wins or loses. She just wants entertainment. And I'm going to touch on all of that stuff a lot more when I get into the theories portion of my video, so stay tuned for that. And I thought the whole scene with Satoko kind of talking to Rika and saying like, oh, and kind of like saying like, oh, maybe Oishiro's punishing you, all that stuff. To me, and I know there was other stuff that happened in Go that kind of like made Rika get to the conclusion she was at, but I feel like this was kind of a mistake by Satoko. She was playing her hand too hard. Now, some of it may have been because she was being pressured by Aua, and she felt like, okay, I need to get things rolling here. And I think she was kind of like smelling blood, no pun intended, and felt like, okay, I just need to like maybe apply a little more pressure and it'll break Rika. She'll realize what she was doing was wrong, all of these things, and I'll have my normal Rika back. But in my opinion, the way she played that is like the conversation didn't seem like a normal conversation Satoko would really ever have with Rika. It was extremely mature. And we know with Rika, she does like notice like really small things, like Hanyu not doing the oh thing. Like she noticed that, and I think Rika taking a very like mature and like calculated like. I just felt like that was very out of character for Stoko, and if I was Rika, that would make me start to suspect her, and I think that could have been a catalyst to the beginning and the end for Satoko. Now, it took a long time for Rika to finally realize it all the way, but I feel like part of Rika started to believe it probably right there, but just didn't want that to be true. And I absolutely loved seeing Satoko with Teppei, and just how much Teppei, I mean, he was like everyone's like least favorite character. And they, in the secrets of Hanimazawa video with Ryokishi and a few of the voice actors, they kind of like, they really brought up Teppei kind of a lot. And I think that he will play a really big role in the future. Kind of different than what we were thinking, but we'll see. And yeah, they just kind of like, they said, we're talking about the real significance of him. And it seemed like to me they were kind of alluding to the fact that he might also change Satoko, like him remembering all these things and how much of a piece of shit he was, to be honest, made him change. Maybe seeing his change is going to change Satoko. It could just be kind of like something to get us off the scent, but I think that is something to be on the lookout for. Satoko really is kind of like a puppet master, and she's just pulling the strings on Teppei, particularly his heartstrings, and she does like this crying thing, talking about how she's so bullied in the town. And I saw some of your guys' comments. You said, yeah, that's true, like the town looks down on her. Really though, I am gonna push back on that. Yes, she's not fully accepted into the town, but she has a group of friends. The response when the town sees Teppei at her house tells me that everyone is not just picking on her and doesn't care about her and hates her because she's a Hojo. So now that could be because they've been going through the loops too and realized what they did was wrong. But regardless, that response, like, kind of, I feel like was to show that, kind of compare and contrast, like, what Satoko was pretending was real and what actually is real and how the people are looking at her. And if you guys remember back in Go, Rika did get her accepted into the community, got the elders to accept her and say, hey, we need to move past like hating the Hojos, and the town accepted it, which is something really important that Rika did that seemed to have no effect on Satoko and like still hates her for things. Some of it warranted, but that is so important that Rika did that and fought for her, and it's just kind of ignored. So I just thought that was something kind of important that we usually forget about. Now, into the theories portion. So if you just wanted like a recap and analysis, like turn it off now because I'm getting into the theories. So Sakutaro, who's like very active on my channel, commented that Satoko was going to lose, get sent to like some shit world, and Rika was somehow going to find a way to get to Satoko and try to save her. And perhaps the world that Rika, or that Satoko is in, the horrible fragment, all of her friends are not her friends. And this was kind of alluded to in the OP. We kind of see the friends looking like just somewhat evil. So I actually think this is like a pretty good theory. I'm believing something pretty close to that. Now, do I think that fragment is going to take place in Hanimizawa? No, because I think she's going to make it probably worse and have her kind of stuck in St. Lucia's. And also to bring back into the OP, like there's so much stuff with Rika and Satoko in St. Lucia's, so I feel like we're gonna have to get at least 5 episodes in St. Lucia's, or maybe like a mini arc, something. A lot of this series, I feel like, for Sots is gonna have to take place there, a significant chunk, or else like why would they put that in there? Maybe it is a red herring, but if we think back to the opening for Go, all those things were extremely significant later on, and we were given a lot of hints that became kind of important that we had no idea what they were until we were in later on. So I kind of think she's going to be sent into a fragment where she's in St. Lucia's without Rika. Now, I'm kind of feeling like how things are starting to go now, and we see that Aua, in my opinion, is playing kind of both sides, and a lot of people commented in my reaction video that they think kind of it's possible that Hanyu's speech being weird is actually Aua either in Hanyu or maybe possessing her, something like that. That's kind of showing that Aua is maybe playing both sides. I don't know if I completely agree with that. I could see them just doing the weird Hanyu speech pattern as like, again, something to get us off the scent. I do think it's probably kind of important. Now, I could also see her kind of being like enslaved by Aua, or kind of being like her servant almost. Her furniture, as it will, if you're an Umineko fan. So that's just something I could totally see as well. But yeah, the speech pattern thing and not doing the oh thing was kind of important, because if you think back to the original Higurashi and like Kai and all that, even in the worst situations, Hanyu still has that kind of like babyish speech pattern, and just seeing it gone is quite jarring to me, and I know to a lot of you other guys. And I was completely off the Umineko setup thing, but now with how they're starting to do stuff in this, and we see how Aua's like really seems to be almost playing both sides, and it looks like it's pretty likely that Satoko's going to get sent to a horrible fragment and lose. That seems like the basis to turn into Lambda Delta, in my opinion. And Rika searching through fragments all over to try to find Satoko and save her, I feel like is something that would just cause Rika to lose like some of her humanity and turn into Burn Castell. I feel like it's making even more sense that this would be a setup to Umineko. I was kind of off the scent completely. I was like, nah, there's no way they're doing it. And now that I see it kind of going this way, and they could totally flip it on its head again, and I'm going to be wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm actually suspecting either this is setting up an Umineko thing, or there's going to be kind of an ode to Burn Castell and Lambda Delta, not just like little Easter egg hints, like they are going to be them by the end of this season. Those are my thoughts for some of the theories, but I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know your theories. Again, guys, thanks so much for supporting my channel and really just giving your theories, having like a fun debate in my comments. It's so fun. I look forward to Thursdays every week for Higurashi, and in my opinion, the show is really picking up, and this show started off this season so much better than Go. So I think we're going to be in for a treat on the rest of Sots.